Welcome back to Geek Out Is Say It's Friday and we're having fun. Thanks for mimicking me. It's really appreciative.
I was having fun. You said we were having fun. So I was having fun.
And today we're talking about ThunderCats Roar.
No, it's
if you've seen the
ThunderCats Ho! Not Roar. That's ridiculous.
I think you should totally do that again.
So we're talking about ThunderCats Roar. Now this is a new show that's going to be on the Cartoon Network, and it's in the style of, what would you say, Steven Universe?
Yeah, it's like Adventure Time, Steven Universe. It's like this chibi anime baby. Too fat, I'm stupid, I sit on couch and I'm stupid and I don't know things kind of animation. I don't like it.
What was that, Ed, and Eddie?
Oh my god.
No, they're redoing that too.
So I would not let the children watch that when they were younger because I think just like SpongeBob SquarePants, it makes you less intelligent. And this world is already less intelligent enough. See what I just did? Even I'm less intelligent just because I'm talking about these things.
I hate when that happens.
I hate this style of animation. It's not my thing. I know a lot of people, they love Steven Universe. They love Adventure Time. Like, it's their favorite thing. For me, so I guess I'm not politically correct. I'm just going to go with that.
Okay.
Okay, and I guess...
Except when you have to be.
No, not when I have to be. There are some things that I choose that I want to be politically correct for. But I am not, I'm almost, I guess, a misogynist to a point. Like, I just think certain cartoons, certain animated things, to me still, I guess because I grew up in the 80s, because I saw these comic books, to me this style of this comic book style with the ripped abs and the big muscles and those characterizations, that Conan the Barbarian, that He-Man, I think the ThunderCats, to me, should be that style of animation. And we've gone really far away from that style of animation nowadays. And I know things evolve and change, and I'm okay for evolving and changing. I actually don't have anything invested in Teen Titans, so I actually like Teen Titans Go. It's really super ridiculous, and I think it's funny, and I laugh at it all the time, and my friends get mad at me, and they're like, that's not Teen Titans, that's ridiculous. So I know, like, everybody has their own taste, but this is horrible to me. This is really awful.
But if you look at Teen Titans, that's not necessarily something that we grew up with.
Yeah, like, so maybe that's not like taking something that I have a personal investment in.
I think it's more of a thing, a nostalgia thing for us.
It's like for my daughter who's 18, she loves Teen Titans, hates Teen Titans Go. My son who's 8, 10 years difference, loves Teen Titans Go. Can't stand the original Teen Titans.
Yeah, see, so it's all perspective. So maybe the kids these days, I just don't like the way they're going with the storyline. I don't like this dumbing down of Lion-O where he's all, da, 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 I'm real dumb with a sword. I don't like that whole thing that they're doing with him. I don't like that characterization. I don't like that style of animation. And I even bought all the pop figures, and the pop figures have like a chibi-esque quality that I don't mind.
But the cool thing about ThunderCats was the detail in it. Just like his gauntlet and the sword, and it was so much more detailed than what they're showing now. That and that on top of that, with the nostalgia part of it,
Yeah.
Because that's what I grew up with. I grew up with ThunderCats. And I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't know. And I know that there's this big push to get away from these like super masculine characters. These like, I'm in charge, I'm the man, I'm super masculine. I don't know why we have such a problem with that. I don't know. I don't want to start this whole discussion, but
I think I don't like Ed, and Eddie. I hate Ed, and Eddie because they're all stupid.
They're stupid for the sake of being stupid, right?
Yeah.
It's to show you how fun it is to be stupid.
This is what they're doing with ThunderCats, and that's what I don't like.
Yeah, I don't. There's
apart from the style.
Like, there's enough, I think, already out there that's like that. Like SpongeBob and Patrick, they're stupid for the sake of being stupid. Really, Jake and Finn, I find, in Adventure Time, are stupid for the sake of being stupid. They're almost proud of being stupid. I know everybody sees all this meaning and all of these other things, but...
Oh, and hey, Electric Dreams, how's it going? Doug's watching us, too.
Hi. I don't... And I see this as a trend, like in YouTube and in other things. It's stupid for the sake of being stupid, and I don't like that. And I don't like that, especially it's targeted to the kids.
Yeah,
because they
really
emulate that
dumbing
behavior.
down of what we grew up with, and it bothers me a lot.
And I watched the video, so I watched the video for ThunderCats Roar, and it just shows a little clip, and then it shows the creators, and they're so proud of themselves, and they're like, oh, we took the essence of this, and they're millennials. And I'm like, so you obviously didn't take the essence, and you didn't understand the original, because you watched it through your eyes, and through this new politically correct eyes, I guess, that millennials have or are supposed to have. It changes the way they look at some of the things that we grew up with, that I don't necessarily think that there's that, I don't know.
But the reason why they're pandering to the masses. Because
yeah, but I just don't.
When we were little, how old were we when we saw ThunderCats? When did that come out? In the 80s, like 85?
Yeah, I was going to say I had to be like 12, maybe 10 or 12, somewhere in there. Because it was around the...
So around middle school age.
Yeah.
And that's what they're gearing it towards, and that's what, middle schoolers like.
Yeah, they like all kinds of ridiculousness, and they have...
Vince Snarf Guzman.
Very little...
I just saw that right now. Nice. That was a good one. I wasn't expecting that one.
And I know that there was another reimagining of ThunderCats, but they were younger.
Yeah, and it was more of like an anime feel to it.
Yeah, I got more of an
around
anime.
the same time that they did the Wolverine thing that was anime-ish.
Yes. And I was trying to remember, because
stuff.
I felt like maybe I had seen some episodes and I wanted to watch some more. So now I want to go see if I can find those. Because I do like that anime style. There's so many different styles of anime drawings, but
Yeah.
This was an anime style that was not chibi. It was more of, I don't know.
So we do have a comment from Electric Dreams. He says, maybe I'm being a bit contrary, but ThunderCats Roar is at least a different direction. I mean, it is a different direction. I don't know that I
don't know that I wanted it to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
I don't know that it needed to go. I guess newer audiences needed for it to go in a different direction.
I mean, could they have made it with really awesome graphics?
But nobody draws things like that anymore. I don't see cartoons that look like that anymore. Like the kind of cartoons that we grew up with, they don't look like that anymore. Like Batman Returns, G.I. Joe, Transformers, He-Man.
I mean, all the DC movies, or not the movies, but the cartoon movies.
Yeah, the cartoon movies look like that. The Killing Joke and those looked like that. But cartoons that you see like on Cartoon Network. I mean, you're looking at like Teen Titans Go, Steven Universe, Adventure Time, Bob's Burgers. I don't know. I don't have any little kids, so I don't watch Cartoon Network as much anymore, but I do like cartoons. I would like to reinstate Saturday morning cartoons. But yes, it's a new direction, but I don't know that I wanted it to go in a new direction. I liked the direction it was in already, and you're pandering to... Because my generation, we are in our 40s now, and so we're the ones who are middle class, upper middle class, and we have the money, and we're the ones buying things, and we're buying things for our kids and stuff. So they are pandering to us. They're like trying to pull back into our nostalgia. So if you're going to pander to me, then pander to me.
Yeah.
Like, don't try to reinvent stuff I already liked. It's just like the Gem movie. You're not pandering to me when you try to mix Gem and Pitch Perfect. It didn't work. I don't know what they're going to try to
For
ruin.
Gem, no. Gem as being Gem didn't work. Was it an okay movie? It was an okay movie.
It was an okay movie if you didn't think about it as being Gem.
Yeah.
If you didn't think about it as being Gem. So I think if you're going to pander to me... So I'm going to kind of cross over into the next thing we were going to talk about, Vincent, is Cobra Kai. So we've only seen 2 episodes of this, but this is good pandering, in my opinion.
Yes.
This is taking that Karate Kid that we loved, that we, like, that was our movie. Like, growing up, that was one of the quintessential movies for our generation.
Yeah. And we haven't seen the whole thing, so we're not going
to spoil it.
We're not going to spoil it.
Because we've only seen 2 episodes, but... Cobra Kai panders to our generation.
It does.
It brings back everything about those characters that we loved and hated. It talks about a time that we feel as a generation has been lost. It talks about... I'm trying to say this without saying it because I'm not supposed to say naughty things, but... It talks about, like, having cojones. It talks about, like, having, like, strength and, like, not being a wuss and not being politically correct.
Like heavy machismo.
And, yeah, it talks about kind of, you know, being masculine. And there are some... I've seen some previews of future episodes, and there are some girls that are going to be part of Cobra Kai, too.
Yeah.
But it's pandering to that kind of... dissension we have between our generation
There's
and
like so much I want to say about it and I can't, but I haven't even seen the part where you see that there's girls in there.
Yeah, we've just seen it in previews,
but it's an interesting
show.
I
think that, okay, so it's Ralph Macchio and Will Smith, who are from our generation, who created this, so they understand, I think, those thoughts and feelings that people in our generation have. And then it brings in the millennials, which there is a divide between our generation and millennials. There is. There is a divide. We have certain feelings about what we've done to create who we think millennials have become. And we know it's totally our fault. We're just like, it is totally our fault. And now we're looking back and going, oh, how ridiculous were we? I can't believe we created these monsters.
Now I'm wax on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and there's just so many, you know, like, throwbacks to the old movie.
Yeah, they even have clips from the movie
they do have clips from me that start from the very beginning.
And what's funny is, so there's a new trainee, and you think that Johnny's gonna have him. Like, there are moments where they lead you up and you think like wax on, wax off is gonna happen, and then it totally doesn't, and it kills you, it slays you. Like, you are cracking up because you get so sucked in. So we're definitely gonna do the YouTube Red. It's 30 days for free. That's what we did with CBS All Access.
Yeah.
We took that for 30 days for free and watched Star Trek.
It might almost be worth it because it strips all the ads from
There is no amount
YouTube.
of money I need to pay for me to get past some 4-second ads. Like, I'll just sit there for 4 seconds and daydream or think about something else or pick my nose or whatever.
Some of them are forced on you and you can't.
But who cares? It's like they're like 4 seconds. They're like maybe a minute long at the longest. Yeah. I'm not going to pay. I am too cheap to pay to skip these ads. Like, I'm just not even gonna. Not me personally. If you want to pay, that's all on you. But I'm not. I'm not going to. I will not.
But
I think Cobra Kai is totally...
I really like how it showed kind of like this one moment in time, this one tournament, karate tournament, affected two people two different ways.
Something from high school, right?
Something from high school.
And I think that speaks to us specifically, and maybe not to you as much as it does to me, but because I went to high school and part of junior high in a smaller Texas town outside of San Antonio, I have seen those Texas boys who they plateaued at high school football, and their life has never been the same since because they couldn't move past that event.
Yeah.
So I think I can make even more of that connection. I don't know that you've seen that as much growing up here in San Antonio and going to school here as much as I did growing up with some of these kids that go to these small towns and they get into this sport or whatever, and they're really great in high school and kind of don't go any further, and their whole life becomes defined by that. So it doesn't seem as far-fetched for me as it may seem for other people. Other people may be like, well, what, really, a high school tournament, like, it really affected you that much? For some people, it does. It really, really does. It impacts their lives. So it's interesting to see this, and I like the...
But it kind of shows everything, because it shows, like, scenes from Karate Kid, and then Karate Kid 2. It shows those scenes as well about what happens to Johnny after he loses with his sensei.
Right, right.
And that's another thing that, and you see him go through those flashbacks and it affecting him so well. But you also see it affect Daniel as well.
Yeah, and they're so interconnected. It's interesting to see all the different tendrils of interconnectivity that they didn't even initially know existed and become apparent as they go through this series. So it's really interesting. I'm really liking it. I'm definitely excited to watch the rest of the episodes. And the episodes are super short.
Because I remember seeing, what is his, Zebka, or is that his last name? The actor that plays Johnny.
Yeah, I don't remember.
He was here at...
he was here at Alamo City.
Alamo City, and he was actually talking about this coming out to be a thing.
Yeah. It's good. It's really good.
It's really good. If you haven't seen it, you should at least catch the first two, because you can catch those on YouTube and for free.
For free, and then you can decide for yourself if you like it enough. Again, I don't know if it speaks to people who haven't seen Karate Kid and don't make all the references to Karate Kid that we do, but I think those of us that did, it really speaks to us.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of that show that Stuart had us watch, that Jean-Claude Van Johnson. It's like that take on those people of nostalgia for us. If you haven't seen Jean-Claude Van Johnson, you should also see that.
Yes, that's on Amazon Prime. That
is on Amazon Prime, and that is one of the most hilarious things, because again, growing up, Jean-Claude Van Damme, he was like the quintessential action hero, right? He was our action hero at the time.
Bloodsport and Time Cop and what was the double? Kickboxer.
Yeah.
And all of those get referenced. Like, all of his movies get referenced in the show.
Referenced in the show, and he does like some of the most ridiculous stuff. Like, it's really hilarious.
Did you know he was in Breakin' 2?
Really? Electric Boogaloo?
Yeah. He was dancing.
Did he really?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Yeah, so I think that there's plenty of stuff. There's plenty of room for the stuff that we loved to come back and be good.
Yeah.
That I don't feel like I have room for stuff that we love to come back and be bad. So I think that's why I have no patience for the ThunderCats Roar.
Yeah.
I have no patience. If you're going to bring something back or bring it back but in a new direction, it needs to be as good as the original, if not better. It needs to pay homage to the original. It should. It should look like you watched it and cared about it.
Yeah. That doesn't look like it was cared about at all. Not at all.
No.
I mean, the biggest thing about ThunderCats is the Sword of Omen. And they didn't do it justice.
You just don't have the man bun and the barista little goatee to understand it. That's the problem.
I guess. That's our problem.
Because I know that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to reach in there and rip that whatever he had on his head off and say, you didn't watch ThunderCats.
You don't even understand it.
Nolan Creates says, any certain way you want me to wash these windows, Sensei? Nah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. That's the line.
Yeah.
That's it, Patrick. Oh my God. I died. I died and died and died and died. I was like, it's going to happen. And then it doesn't happen. And you're like, oh my God, it didn't happen. And you're just excited that it didn't happen. That if he had, you're like, say it. And then he doesn't say it.
But it wouldn't happen because
he didn't have that
learn
experience.
from him. Yeah.
I know, but you still want it to. And then it doesn't. And you're like, but it makes so much sense that he wouldn't, but it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny because they pull you in enough because they know that you're wanting that to happen, right? You're wanting that to accidentally cross over, right?
Well, I remember there was this one YouTuber, I forget what his name was, and he was talking about of who the actual antagonist was in Karate Kid. And he says it wasn't Johnny, it was Daniel. He's the one that caused all that strife.
By being the new kid?
He antagonized it. He kept going and going. He didn't like attack him until he tried to like go after Johnny's girlfriend.
Well, he liked her.
Well, they kind of like reference that a little bit in the show.
Yeah. No, they're calling him out.
They really do. They call him out.
Yeah. They're calling him out for his part. But, you know, you can't, like, stand back and let people walk on you either, so...
And it's weird how his voice sounds the same. Daniel.
Ralph Macchio.
He sounds the exact same.
I meant to call my
You have to close your eyes because he looks a lot older now.
But he's still in there, like you see him.
You see him, but you can see that he's much older.
You see Johnny too, though. They both are still,
But he starts out, like Johnny started with this real scruffy. And I think he actually looks better all scruffy. He looks a little
younger, And then when he shaves, you can see all the crow's feet. And you're like, oh, God, we're in our 40s. Oh, Lord. I think they're in their 50s, actually.
Yeah, they're old.
I think they're both in their 50s. So. But, yeah, it just reminds you.
Yeah, Patrick says, I saw that theory. It was good. So, yeah, I mean,
he definitely played his part. And he did stuff to push it. He did. Because he was upset.
He egged it on.
He egged it on, yeah.
If he would have stopped, it probably wouldn't have never have gone that far.
Right. Exactly.
Because he didn't have to go and, like, dump in, doing the water hose and just, like...
Uh-huh. But the whole sweep the leg thing, that was just... That's too much. Every time it's so
and that one kid... Put him in a body bag.
I hate that kid. I want to slap
Yes,
him
I always hated that kid. Because they show that part in there too.
Yes, and they show his face and he's got this wild face and he's like so excited to like hurt him and I'm like, "Oh, I hate that kid." Yeah. That show is really good. So I'm excited. But then you get excited about these shows and then you find out that they cancel them and you're like,
which brings me to thanks for the lead into that.
You're welcome.
To Lucifer. So
I did know what we were
Lucifer is a really, really, really good show, and I really enjoyed
I don't know
it.
That
it's
we
a DC
talked about
it's a DC show. Not many people like realize it, but Lucifer is a DC show. Mm-hmm. And
I really liked Constantine, and I get that same kind of Constantine feel from Lucifer. Mm-hmm. And so if you haven't seen Lucifer, I guess there's no point in watching it now because they've canceled it. But it's Lucifer.
You should still see it.
You should go watch the seasons that are out there. So it's Lucifer, and he's out, he's escaped, and he's come to Earth, right? And so he's living here, and it's all these trials and tribulations of him trying to be human, basically. And then one of his brothers, Amenadiel from heaven, has come down to kind of, watch over him and keep tabs on him and stuff. And a demon has come up, and so it's kind of all of their trials and tribulations. And Lucifer becomes like part of the police force in Los Angeles and is helping them out.
And he kind of really doesn't understand life as human.
Right. Exactly, no, not at all.
Because he has things like he's immortal.
Right.
And
he can kind of get people to do what he wants. So he doesn't have a real grasp. And it's funny because he has to go to a therapist. So he goes to a therapist all the time. And he doesn't ever understand what she's trying to tell him and stuff. So it's funny. And he's always messing things up. And I don't know. He's
so you're trying to say I should do this? No, that's not at all what I said.
Okay, good.
I'll go do that. Yeah.
I don't know. It's really cheeky. But what I really liked in this very last episode, and if you're not watching it, we're not spoiling anything for you. And if you've been watching it and you haven't seen the very last episode, then stop listening for just a minute. He uses his wings.
Yeah.
He uses his wings in battle. Yeah. And it is like one of the most...
On the last episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the most awesome, I was going to say B.A. Baracus things. Like the way he sweeps with those wings and he uses them as a shield, and it's really spectacular. It's like what you've been waiting for this whole time. Like we've been waiting this whole time for him.
And we can't see any more of it.
Because during the rest
sucks.
of it, he hates his wings and he keeps cutting them off and trying to cut them off and trying to cut them off. And so now he finally has embraced them as these shields
he cut them off
weapons.
And they were off for the longest time. Yeah. And then something happened to where they came back.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Well, he still doesn't know why. Yeah. We were trying to, that's part of the mystery that we're never going to find out the reason why. But I don't know. I really, really liked it. So people have gone on Twitter to try to save it. And so they're like, hashtag, save Lucifer. So if you're watching it or you had been watching it and you really like it, get on the bandwagon and maybe we can get it renewed.
And then Superman was in there too.
Yeah, so, but it's Superman from Smallville, but he's actually not Superman in Lucifer. He's actually Cain. And Cain has been immortal all this time, and that's been part of his punishment for killing Abel. And so he's an interesting character, too, because we get to see some of what he's gone through in the past. And I don't know, I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I
really liked it.
And we never really talked about it that much here on YouTube, but... I'm talking about it now because, help us out.
I mean, we
on
mentioned
Twitter.
it a couple of times, but it's just...
I wish we would have talked about Constantine more so that maybe we could have I loved seeing Constantine on Legends of Tomorrow because I really loved him as Constantine, and I loved his show. After seeing the Constantine movie versus seeing the show, and I went back and read some of the comics after seeing the show, which I feel like now I need to do for Lucifer is go check out some of the comics.
The show is more like it than the movie.
The show is much more like it. So I feel like we have these snippets and they're doing a good job and then it gets canceled because, again, people like mainstream comic book things. They like the Avengers. They like some of the DC stuff, although mostly they hate the DC stuff. They like the X-Men. But then when it gets to these lesser known comics, they don't even sometimes realize that they are a comic, and so they don't get the attention that they should.
I think that's something that's going to start happening with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they're starting to lose it on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I thought this was it. This is the last season. The one that's coming up is the last one. They've already announced it, yeah. Yeah, everybody's over Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm over it. I really wish they could convince her to bring back Agent Carter.
Yeah.
Agent Carter was a spectacular show.
That would have been.
That was a spectacular show.
Great.
Hey, I also heard they're canceling your Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn it. I like that one too.
That was so campy.
But it was another thing about nostalgia.
Yeah, and it was camp just for the sake of being camp.
Yeah.
And it was like all of those characters that but
it was
Raimi
like typical
always
Sam
has.
Raimi.
Yeah, it was
stuff.
totally Sam Raimi stuff. And it was like, oh, here's Joxer, and here's Xena, and here's like all of my characters back. They're just in different roles. So Sam Raimi will just need to find something else in a few
Lucy
years.
Lawless, for her age, looks still really good.
She does. She looks spectacular. I would love to see. Let's reinvent Xena, Warrior Princess. I will watch it. I will totally watch it. I loved that show. If we want to bring back some nostalgia, let's do that.
And
I cannot believe
Hercules.
that they never got Firefly to come back. As many people as there is like a huge cult following for Firefly. I cannot believe they didn't get that.
People, I guess, just hate Joshua Whedon.
I guess, yeah. Because it's like everything he creates gets like poo-poo.
Yeah.
He must do something in Hollywood that ticks people off. And they're like, nope, cancel this show. But then how does he get one in the first place? Like, I don't understand. Because he gets shows all the time, but they don't last. They like never last. But they create this big cult following of like.
Well, he does movies now, though. Didn't he do one of the Marvel movies? Which one did he do? I think it was one of the Avengers, yeah.
Oh. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But like Buffy, Angel.
Those lasted a pretty good amount of time.
They did, but they still.
They could have kept going.
Yeah, they could have. It could have easily kept going.
Yeah. But that again may have been the actors saying, "For the love of God, please release me." And that's what I like about Cobra Kai. I'm going to go back to Cobra Kai one more time. That's what I like about Cobra Kai is they brought us those actors back. And
yeah.
I think that was important. When I had first heard about it, I was like, oh, they're trying to reinvent that. It's just going to be somebody different. I didn't realize that it was the actors. So
yeah.
as soon as I saw that it was them, I was like, oh, well, now I feel better. Like, I'm glad that
And then we get to see Ed Asner.
I was shocked. I thought Ed Asner was dead.
I didn't know he was still alive.
He looks like he's like 160 years old. He always did look like he was really old. It was like, oh my God, he's so old. I couldn't believe he was still alive. It was crazy. It was good though. It was super good.
I'm really excited to start watching that whole thing. We have 8 more episodes to watch.
Yeah.
Damn you, YouTube Red, making me want to watch the whole thing.
Making me want. That's the whole point. Is they're
But
trying to
apparently
get you
there's other really good shows on there.
on YouTube Red.
I haven't.
I'm just so tired. I'm already tired of these. Like, oh, I have to get a subscription service to this to get these shows. I have to get a subscription service to this because I've heard The Handmaid's Tale is really, really good, and that's only on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a bunch of shows that I like that are only on Netflix. And then there's shows that we like that are on Amazon Prime. And now there's shows on YouTube Red. It's like how many...
Well, you know what you can do with YouTube Red is you can share it with...
Is YouTube Red paying this dude or what? He's like really going on and on.
Well, I was just... Because I was like looking, what do I have to do? You can get a subscription. You can get the family subscription, which is like... It's free for the first month, but you can share it with up to like 5 or 6 other users.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to like pitch in and then have one account that can like dish it out to 5 different other people, then you can use it. They can also use it too for like $5 more.
Thank
it's
you.
Really
YouTube
a great
Red
deal.
Spokesman.
Cha-ching! I just got money. No,
he
I didn't. Not yet.
No, he didn't.
Now they're gonna put me on. Oh, he's advertising for us. So
they're not gonna put you anywhere. They're not even watching our show right now.
We should have put Cobra Kai on there.
Be quiet.
Still hold.
YouTube doesn't know nothing about nothing.
They pay money to people.
Not to us.
Not yet.
They pay money to other people. So you're wearing your Flash shirt.
I did.
Because Flash just ended also. Like, it's summertime, so all of our shows are ending. So I'm always down for a happy, joy, love ending, and that's what we got with The Flash.
But isn't that what we kind of like have usually been getting with The Flash?
I like that about The Flash. I know a lot of people hate that, right? A lot of people are like, that's not realistic. Look, that's the comic books for you, okay? You get your happy, joy, usually. A lot of the time. Sometimes. Mostly. But I liked it. I was glad. I liked that character. Patrick
just said, so are you asking me? Hint, hint. So anyway, as you were saying,
The Flash.
So yeah, no, I really enjoy that they do that because it's something that they don't really do, that they've never really done on other shows, because they kind of leave you with cliffhangers.
Yeah.
On everything else, and just like, it leaves you like, I gotta wait such and such time.
And it's supposed to be like trying to get you to come back next season, right? Mm-hmm. Because if they leave you on a cliffhanger, then you want to come back. But if I like your characters in your show, I'm gonna come back.
And that's what they're doing with The Flash.
Yeah, they're like, you guys like us, okay, so we can wrap some of this up and leave you with a happy, joy. Mm-hmm. I like kind of leaving with a happy, joy, and I'm like, okay, I don't feel like all wound up for months.
I feel like it can wait a little bit until it comes back. Mm-hmm. Maybe not so much last season when he went into the Speed Force, but even then, it was kind of like it's something he kind of had to do, and it was kind of like a happy thing. You kind of
knew, obviously, if they were coming back for another season, he was going to come out of the Speed Force, and it's like a comic book show, so you know he's going to get out of it. It's not like that big of a cliffhanger. It's like when you have comic book stuff and like all the people die and turn to dust, you know they're going to come back. Like, it's not that much of a cliffhanger.
I'm really, really glad they came back to showing their daughter again.
Yeah, because we've been seeing snippets of her, and we knew that she was... So that's kind of our cliffhanger, right?
They've kind of been like... alluding to it this entire time, but then they kind of stop for a long time. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they do that, and they'll forget about it. They won't remember, like they do on like other shows that we watch, like Grey's Anatomy. I still like it, but
you're like, you really had part of this storyline, and then you come back next season, and that part of the storyline's not there anymore. We magically forgot. We didn't, okay? We remember. We didn't forget. Yeah, that agitates me. I hate that. I hate that when they have some part of the storyline, or they have like an actor, an actress, and then they come back and it's like, just kidding.
But all these people, all these like outlets on the internet were saying, that's something that they haven't, that they're not going to really do anything with, and they actually did do something with it.
With their daughter?
With the daughter.
Well, yeah. Why put it in there? Like, put it in there and then decide it didn't play well with the audiences, maybe, or something? Yeah. Maybe. But, yeah, so that'll be our thing for next season, right? We'll see, why is she here, what caused her to come back and see her parents.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Another... talking about the parents, because I know how you hate the parents of the Fear the Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead, because I know you really hate that show.
So I hate that show enough that I upset people on Twitter, and I only have 13 Twitter followers.
That's awesome.
So I hate The Walking Dead. Okay, not The Walking Dead. I hate Fear the Walking Dead. I root for them to get eaten by the zombies. Like, I'm like, please, let them die. Oh, please, eat them. Oh, no, you missed them. Oh, God. Like, that's the only joy I get. I watch Fear the Walking Dead because Vince likes it. I hate that show. So I got on Twitter because they moved Morgan over from Walking Dead. They brought Morgan over into Fear the Walking Dead and to intertwine the storylines. And then they brought the actor who was on Raising Hope, and he was on Terminator. Mm-hmm. I don't remember his name, but he's now a character. And they brought Jenna Elfman, who used to be Dharma from Dharma and Greg. I love her. And I didn't even mention her. I just mentioned Morgan and the other guy. And I don't even remember exactly what I said, but I said something about, oh, I guess now we don't have to cancel this ridiculous show because now it'll be the Morgan show and now it'll be worth watching because at least Morgan's worth watching, right? And then I said something about hoping the other guy like helped boost it and make it so that I didn't want people to eat him too.
Hoping.
And so people started like getting in there and they were like, well, why do you even watch it if you hate it? And you shouldn't discount all these years of acting done by these other actors and just praise these two that have come in and done nothing yet. And so then I was like, well, I watch it for my spouse because I love him, not because I want to watch your stupid show that you apparently like. And
I have to say that it's been bumped up. I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much as The Walking Dead, but I enjoyed it enough to keep watching it. But now that Morgan is in there and this other guy and Jenna Elfman, I like it that much more because it kind of fast forwards like several years.
It's because they can act.
Yeah.
So this was my contingency on Twitter that I was having a fight back and forth with these people. I was like, I'm sorry, but the actors that they chose for Fear the Walking Dead, they can't act. They can't act. They don't have any chemistry. They're really awful. And if they were doctors or lawyers or teachers or somebody else, they would get a yearly review and they would be like having problems in their job if they weren't performing well. But as soon as somebody's an actor, it seems like there's all these millions of people that like jump on their bandwagon and, oh, you're an actor. You stink. You're not good at your job. Stop doing it. I don't like them. They got rid of Rabbit. Like that poor guy, he can't act in anything. The guy who was the stepdad, every time he's in something, he gets fired. He's not good. He seems like a nice man, but he's not good.
I really didn't like the mom. And
the mom, I can't stand her. The drug addict kid, I can't stand him. He's not good. He probably acts like that in real life. It's just him being himself. That's not acting. It's like, what's her face? Kristen Stewart. She doesn't act. She can't act. That's what her face looks like every day. That's who she is. She's not acting. She needs to be fired. Yeah, like that. That's how she looks. Like she's pained and possibly constipated. Not quite sure which. Yeah.
So...
I don't know.
We talked about a lot of shows, and I'm sad to see some of them go, but we're gonna have access to other shows on because we haven't been watching anything on whatchamacallit yet.
Netflix.
On Netflix.
Yeah, because we haven't even watched Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones came back, so that's gonna be.
We'll have stuff over the summer. We'll be fine. I'm still watching the drag queens. I don't know if that's a geek thing though. I geek out over drag queens. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
It's a little geeky. You can geek out about anything.
Yeah, it's like cosplay. It is. Don't judge me.
It's gender bending cosplay.
That's right.
There you go. But this was really fun. I really enjoyed talking about TV because that's what I like to do. Watch TV and watch movies. It's the best thing ever.
I like to read.
Go movies.
Go books.
Oh. So thanks for checking us out. If you haven't subscribed to us, just please subscribe to us. And please, so you know that we're on, click on the little bell. And then it'll let you know when we're going live or when we post a new video. So check that out. Check that off. But thanks for checking us out. I'm Vince.
I'm Colleen, and that's Stuart.
Geek out, SA. See you later.